I'm Ziyaan Virji. I'm 18 years old and I'm a student at the Aga Khan Academy, Mombasa. I just graduated and I'm planning to go to University of British Columbia in Canada. So ASW stands for Affordable and Accessible Sanitation for Women, and we're an initiative that aims to fight period poverty and stigma around the world. We do this in collaboration with a group of women with disabilities, and we produce and distribute reusable sanitary packages, but also teach some of these menstruators how to help themselves and how to help others get access to menstrual hygiene. So with apart from producing and distributing reusable sanitary packages, we have an educational workshop where we teach both non-menstruators and menstruators about reproductive health, since it's usually not part of their school curriculums. We also have a stitching workshop where we teach some of these menstruators how to use, wash, and stitch their own sanitary packages. This is because it has an exponential effect. So let's say if there's 1,000 menstruators, if we go in and we just help 10 menstruators, these 10 menstruators can be empowered. So we sort of teach them how to fish instead of just giving them fish. And those 10 menstruators are able to help 10 other menstruators, and eventually we are sort of able to make a long-lasting impact. So back in 2017, I was required to start up a personal project at my school. And during that time, I was scrolling through my Facebook feed and I watched this really inspiring documentary on Al Jazeera named India's Menstruation Man. So during that time, I didn't have any information or any knowledge about like the menstrual experience. So I talked to my mom and she told me that when she used to live in India and when she was small, she didn't have proper access to menstrual hygiene. She used to use a cloth-based pad that she used to make at home, and that was not hygienic and it was not comfortable. So that really, I think, was close to my heart, and I did my research and I found out around 500 million menstruators around the world don't have access. And I felt like I had a responsibility to do something because some of these menstruators are my age and they can't go to school because they don't have access to a basic need. So that's when I decided to go online. I used different prototypes for reusable sanitary packages, sort of designed my own. And when I started off, I was able to help 22 girls in Moshi, Tanzania. After the end of my personal project, I got in collaboration with a group of women with disabilities and I started a small team in my school. Um, and we were about 8 to 10 people. And we changed two main things. So one, we redesigned our packages. So now our packages last for 3 years. They're 100% biodegradable. They cost anywhere between $5 to $8, and they're also embarrassment free. We also changed our approach. So now we focus on sustainability. So that's why now we have the educational workshop and stitching workshop. We also do a lot of work in terms of trying to break period stigma because we realize there's a whole taboo against period. So what we do right now is we try and use our social media platforms to create social impact. So we host different virtual events, we spread information because this taboo is prevalent in all sorts of communities. Um, and we believe that through social media we're able to reach out to them. But we also host things like community circles, educational workshops, different sorts of events in which we involve both non-menstruators and menstruators as part of this conversation, because again, this is not a it's a human issue. It's not a male topic or a female topic. It's sort of a human topic, and if you think about it, like no matter what age, race, gender, or background we come from, we actually wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for the reproductive cycle and periods. So here we have our reusable sanitary packages, and as I mentioned before, they last for 3 years. They are 100% environmental friendly. They are also very cost effective, so they cost anywhere between $5 to $8. Um, and they are embarrassment free, and I'll explain that. So in each package, the one comes a waterproof bag. Um, and then we have two of the main components. So this is a washable liner that you insert. So each package has either 5 or 8 of these, and then there are two of these wings. So you simply open them, and then when you get your period or when you want to use a pad, you insert, and based on your flow, you can put either 1 or 3. Um, and then after you insert them, we also provide underwears because some of these menstruators don't have they don't have access to underwears themselves. So how are they meant to wear? So we usually have around 2 underwears, and you simply put them in just like a normal pad, and you take sort of the flaps and I would say close them. Yep. And then once you're done, you simply take out the liners. And I mentioned that these packages are embarrassment free. So if you see, this just looks like a handkerchief, and notice how we have used red. And it's a dark color, so you can't really see the blood. So some of these menstruators, if it looks like a pad, they're really shy to put something out in the open. So we sort of accounted that for, yeah. So apart from that, we have a really cool bag to keep the package. We have the waterproof bag. We usually have hand towels. We have soap as well. And the package usually comes with a booklet in both English and the local language. And that has like a guide on how to wash the pad, how to use it, and also just fun facts and things about reproductive health. So when I started off, as I said, it was a school project and things of that sort. But one thing I made sure I did was I documented every step of the way, because I think that's really important. A lot of people miss out on that. So I took videos, I typed up things, and I had that not with the vision of going big. And then I posted stuff on my social media, and a lot of youth from around the world were like, "We want to get involved, we want to help out. How can we do something?" So I simply had to hop on a call with them and give them these documents, and they were able to start up something of their own. So right now we have over 100 youth volunteers. We have 8 teams in 7 different countries, including Tanzania, Kenya, Pakistan, UAE, India, Nigeria, and we started something small in the UK as well. So initially when COVID hit us, obviously I had to come back to Tanzania, and I was really confused on how to go about the whole situation. But again, I realized that because of the socioeconomic impacts of COVID, some of these menstruators are actually more vulnerable to this issue, right? So what we did was I thought of collaboration instead of competition, and I reached out to other organizations in the menstrual movement. So what we did is our stitching groups actually took their stitching machines at home. They made packages from there and they sent it out to other organizations that had access to going on ground. And our numbers during COVID were actually higher than our numbers before that. So during COVID, we were able to help 1,500 menstruators in Tanzania and Kenya. Apart from that, we also turned our stitching groups to actually fight COVID itself. And we realized that a lot of people with disabilities were missed out on this conversation. So what we did was we turned our stitching groups to actually stitch washable masks, and we were able to distribute around 600 washable masks to people with disabilities in Mombasa. So during this time, because school's over and I have a lot of time on my plate, I realized one, when COVID started, I was sort of able to like reconnect with my purpose and think about what I'm doing and how I'm moving forward. And I was able to see how severe this issue is, and it was sort of a time for reflection, I would say. So that really helped me also be part of other organizations and other initiatives. So one thing I started at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa is, with our cohort, I started an initiative to raise $50,000 to give other deserving students around Africa the opportunity to get the life-changing experience that we got. And to date, we're in just a span of 2 weeks, we have just reached the 25,000 mark, and we plan to continue raising this money and probably even go above the 50,000 to help some of these menstruators. Apart from that, I also got involved with an organization called Helping Hands here in Tanzania. And the main idea of the organization was to fight COVID in terms of prevention. So 2 of the main things we did was work with like frontline workers at hospitals and clinics, and we were able to provide them with some PPE to actually help them with the whole situation. And then we also went to a lot of orphanages and a lot of groups that would be more vulnerable, and we provided them with other basic necessities such as food. We provide them with sanitizers, with masks, and a lot of things. We also went out and teach them how to wash their hands, because I think that's the biggest sort of prevention method they can use. So that's another organization I was involved in. So I think it's important as youth in the Jamaat to realize that we have a responsibility as Ismailis to have a social conscience. We have that responsibility as Ismailis to give back and just think about the privileges that we have gotten, be it our education, be it the fact that we have food on our table. be the fact that we have somewhere to stay, we have a family. So how do we use all these privileges and acknowledge that and then give back? It's important that we find out what our purpose for being is, and how you do that is you think about some of your passions. Think about deep inside, why were you put into this world, and what legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? So I know as Ziyaan, I want to be remembered for as someone that has given back to the community, someone that has made an impact on the lives of others. Even if it's just one person, that I think goes a long way. And so I really encourage, especially during this time as Ismailis and as youth, we sort of just think about our privileges, reflect, and take this time to just acknowledge all that we have and be grateful for it, but also take that step forward to start up initiatives or even contribute to already existing initiatives. It's important that we come together as Ismaili youth and give back. And with the whole situation around the world, I think now that we have all this free time, I think it's the best time to do it. So it's important that we come together, involved in activities that focus on giving back. And so there are a lot of ways you can get involved. You can start up a chapter, you can volunteer. There's a lot of things that you can do. So you can check out our social media platforms, and feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to involve you in some way or the other. We're always looking for more people. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope this is able to inspire you to take the step forward, reconnect with your purpose, and give back, as it's our responsibility as Ismaili youth to have social conscience and give back.